I've been absolutely loving diving into Vocaloid songs with you guys, and the journey is just beginning. We still have so much to dive into, and today we are going to actually continue diving into PinocchioP, but this time around he has brought on another Vocaloid producer, somebody that I really loved after hearing some of his songs from the compilation videos we dove into, and that of course is the one, the only DECO 27. So to see DECO 27 and PinocchioP team up with Miku also to do a song called Not, in parentheses, a Devil, this is gonna be awesome. I am very excited to see what these guys have for us. This is gonna be sick. I'm ready. Let's do this thing. Here we go. This is fascinating. This is very interesting. It looks like in a way we have two different versions of Miku here. We have Miku from possibly, like, I guess we'll say either artist. We have probably a version of Miku that was being used from PinocchioP's set of view, and then obviously we have then DECO 27 using her, we'll say, from his set of view, which I think we have designated between both the fact the captions have a black background, and then we switch over to a different kind of sounding Miku that has the white background for the captions. So I think that this is so fascinating. I didn't even think about this, the fact that because obviously they both have access to the Miku voice bank, they're going to actually maybe use her, we'll say, quote unquote, in a different way than the other one might use. I didn't even think about that. So that's really cool. I was so focused on the lyrics that I almost didn't even think about that as a possibility. That's really sick. Okay, let's do this again. I didn't expect that. That was really cool, actually. Hell yeah. Okay. See, this is actually, it sounds a bit more like kind of almost like robotic, but then it switches. It goes to like the Miku I've been hearing. This sounds more honestly to me like PinocchioP's Miku voice bank, and the first part we actually kind of hear, I think, is more maybe closer to what DECO 27's might be. Interesting. Very cool. Sorry, I keep pausing way too much. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, very fascinating. Okay, so let's break this down a little bit here. So if we look at these lyrics here, we start off obviously saying right off the bat. Let's see, when does it start here? Like, I went way too far back. Oh my gosh, wow, that was really bad. I am way too far back. Here, somewhere like right. Okay, so we start off with not a devil. I'm not a devil, and then we kind of go into, let's see. So saith the devil, oh no, I'm dead, I'm gone. So maybe here we're saying, this almost sounds like it could be the idea of, especially when she mentions the fact that we say angel or devil down the road, this might be the idea of saying that it's the almost like the good versus evil aspect, where you almost have the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other shoulder in a way. And so in this moment, she's saying, I'm not a devil, but she says, oh no, I'm dead, I'm gone. So it could be a factor of, in the moment, she's saying, oh no, I'm good, I'm the angel. But then to flip it around and say, oh no, I'm dead, I'm gone, she made a mistake. She, went to the dark side, if you will. But if we keep going, let's see. Like, don't we all want to be loved? So now we're throwing, this is interesting. This is kind of when I was seeing this for the first time here, when we were playing through it, this kind of threw me off, because now we're kind of mixing in the aspect of love. It's like, don't we all want to be loved? Okay, let's see. Well, if you're still going to be hooked, if you're still going to fall in love, then it goes back, though, to no, oh no, I'm dead, I'm gone. So maybe the only thing I think of is like incorporating the love aspect. And again, remember, guys, this is all my interpretation. This is just me kind of picking this piece, apart piece by piece and whatnot, trying to kind of take something away from it, if you will. Just off a very first time ever listen. Like, this is not something where I've watched this before. So I'm literally just coming up with this on the spot as to what I'm hearing and what I'm thinking might be going on here. So I think we're kind of mixing in with the love aspect of saying, if you're going to fall in love, if you're going to stay hooked on me, you have to be prepared for the fact that I'm going to have my good days, I'm going to have my bad days. There's some days where I'm going to be the angel that I want to be, but other days I might kind of have my moments where I might go towards more of the temptations of the devil and make mistakes or whatnot. That's the only thing I can think of right now off the bat, but let's keep going. You overlooked the true angel, rest in peace. But see here, this is where we say both devil and angel, question mark? That's... Oh, sorry. That's archangel level stuff. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking, is it's a possibility that it's a battle of good versus evil, like I said. But then when you throw it into the relationship aspect and involving love, it's going maybe beyond that, and we're saying, instead of good versus evil, it's like, oh, if you're gonna fall in love with me, if you're gonna stay hooked on me, you're gonna see my good side, you're gonna see my bad side, and hopefully you're okay with that. Because if not, maybe this is not the type of thing you should be diving into. That's at least what I'm picking up off the bat so far. Like I said, maybe that might change as we keep going through the song, but that's at least what I got so far. Let's keep going though. It's for your own good. Salaries exploited by a line, your dreams will come true. Oh, so maybe this is kind of feeding into that, saying that if we look at it's for your own good, maybe it's for your own good that you don't fall for me, because of the good versus evil aspect of me, where I'm going to have days where maybe I'm just the absolute worst. And then when we go forward though to the next one, saying your dreams will come true. And they're saying though, salaries exploited. So you're exploiting the idea of your dreams will come true. That is something that I feel like maybe is overseen or overtold, where, we have this idea of, oh, we find our true, king and queen that we're meant to spend the rest of our lives with, and all your dreams will come true. They're the perfect person. They're who you're meant to spend the rest of your life with, who you're supposed to spend the rest of your life with. But 9 times out of 10, that's almost maybe not necessarily true, if ever true for that matter. So maybe that's where they're kind of coming out with this part. Let's see. What else? Highly addictive things. Something that the devil kind of tries to tempt us with. Oh, that's sick. Oh, I love this. This is so fun. Such a fascinating genre. I love almost like the subtle key change here. It's fun. Ooh, even if I turn into a true devil, bless you. Ooh, it's interesting. I almost feel like that's saying, even if I turn into a true devil, even if I turn completely to the dark side, they're basically saying bless you, like, I think not like, like you sneezed, obviously, but more like, bless your heart, like good luck, because you're about to see hell, if you will, in a way. And you're about to see a side of me that you have never seen before, and I don't think you want to see. So I think that's what they might mean by that. That's crazy. Oh my gosh, I love it. Damn, ended on a hard little riff there. That was sick. That was cool. That was actually really dope. I actually love that the way they composed this in a way, or produced it, or however you want to say it, is that, like I said, you had Deco 27 using Miku the way he would normally use her, and then you have, obviously, PinocchioP using her in the way that he would. And so it almost kind of felt like it was like some like crazy like Miku versus Miku collaboration, like two different, like almost like I could say like almost like two different generations, or like two different like versions of Miku, like a Miku from alternative universe and like the real Miku or something like that, or just like two alternative universes of Mikus that came together and did a song together or something like that. That's like the best way I feel to describe it, which is so cool to see. And I really love that they kind of designated that, what I'm thinking is that the Miku that started off with, I believe it was the captions with the black background, were Deco 27's version of Miku's voice bank, and I think that PinocchioP's was then with the white background on the captions, using obviously his version of her voice bank. And I think that's because, knowing that I've reacted to PinocchioP, I know what his Miku kind of sounds like, and it sounded more like the PinocchioP Miku versus like what maybe Deco 27 was using for her in his version. So it was cool that they kind of treated it like a proper collaboration, where not only were they, actually, now I think about it, it's cool they almost like combined forces for the producing and production side of things, where you can hear almost kind of like the very fun, crazy electronic elements of PinocchioP, and then you mixed it in with a bit of the rock that you really hear a lot in Deco songs. I abbreviate Deco. I don't know if I should say that or just say Deco 27, but anyways, I think that it's cool that the production aspect, they combine their sounds together to make the collaboration, but they kept what was separated for them was the Mikus. So you had his Miku and, we'll say PinocchioP's Miku and Deco 27's Miku. So it's almost like, in a way, if, let's say, these guys were, singing artists themselves, you almost have Deco 27 singing and what would be PinocchioP singing. But instead, because they're vocaloid producers and they're using, obviously, Miku's voice bank, they're like, hey, here's my Miku, here's your Miku, but they're both singing together, if you will, as in not just like picking one of them, if you will, like, oh, we're just gonna use PinocchioP's Miku, or we're just gonna use Deco 27's Miku, which I think was a really sick and awesome approach, because it really added to not only this collaboration as the geniusness that it is, but also it kind of gave a really fresh feel to the song, and didn't feel like, I guess, PinocchioP was doing most of it, or like DECO 27 was doing most of the song or production or whatever you want to say. So really awesome approach, and honestly, really, the way this is actually the first time I think I've struggled where I'm not really quite sure if I really understood the maybe message or the meaning of this song as much as I would like to have. Like I said, I think it's very heavily relying on the idea of good versus evil, and sometimes we tap into our evil side more than our good side. But in all truth and honesty, we're born good people. We are all made in the eyes of God, and so we're obviously, usually, I'd say for the most part, I'd say for the most part, we are supposed to be born good people, and that's what we are. But the people that we surround ourselves with, maybe the family we come from, or whatever our circumstances end up being, sometimes the devil can win and he'll tempt us into the evil side, and a lot of people might turn that way. Hence why we have serial killers. Hence why we have people that, are drug addicts and make poor decisions and whatnot in life, and so on and so forth. And, I think they kind of nailed that, if you will. And it's almost kind of funny where you have almost like, two different versions where you have good versus evil. You also have two different vocaloid producers here. So maybe that was also kind of, the reason why they did this. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, great song. Loved its pieces. Love the way they went about it. Love the fact that we had two different Mikus almost in a way. And just, I'm loving discovering this genre because it's such a fascinating genre. And I definitely want to dive more into PinocchioP, and also I've been wanting to dive into DECO 27 myself because I loved everything I heard from his little snippets in those, videos I dove into as a starting point, if you will. So if there's stuff you want me to react to from DECO 27 that that I mentioned maybe before that I want to dive into, or ones that you want me to dive into, let me know in the comments down below, and we'll definitely get a nice little journey going to his stuff too, for sure. So yeah, anyways guys, with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and drop a like, subscribe to the channel by clicking down below, and I'll go ahead and place the reactions playlist for all the vocaloid stuff I've reacted to over here, and you can check my most recent reaction already over here. As always, thank you all so much for watching and showing them the support, and I will see you all in the next video. Alright guys, bye!